So last week we talked a bit about taking a shower on Shabbat, and we spoke a bit about the problems of cooking. Maybe people might turn on fires on Shabbat, and we also expanded a bit about how our sages were concerned, and maybe also from responsibility of a person should be responsible to other people who maybe don't know so much about Shabbat. So that was the topic from last week. And I said that maybe this week perhaps we'll since we spoke about taking a shower on Shabbat, we'll ask about taking or using hot water on Shabbat. Okay, so the topic of the day is using hot water on Shabbat. We will, I won't say base, but we will be around one of Rav Ovadia's famous tshuvot, famous answers in his book Yabia Omer. I don't think it's the longest answer he wrote, but for sure it's one of the longer answers that he wrote about using a dud shemesh on Shabbat, like a solar heating element on Shabbat. So that's the topic for today. And the idea from that is more than getting to the halacha, what does he hold? We'll try to understand maybe probably basic concepts of Shabbat and the melachot of Shabbat through that. So really, the topic of today is fundamental concepts or basic concepts of melachot of Shabbat. So that's for today, but we'll wrap it around using hot water from a boiler or sun heating on Shabbat. Just something interesting, I took this long answer of Rav Ovadia, I put it into AI, and I asked AI to prepare for me a slideshow. Okay, I asked AI to prepare a slideshow, and it actually did do it, and it even did relatively a nice slideshow. I'll share it here with you just a bit, just so you can see a bit of it. But we won't be following it for the whole time. It will be the set will be around this tshuva of Rav Ovadia, but not everything will be about this answer of Rav Ovadia. Okay, so that's just what we'll be learning today. I'm trying to open here the file and it disappeared, so that's why it's taking me a bit longer, but okay, here it is. And I'll share with you the screen, and then afterwards we'll go back to the regular screen. It's just more maybe for to see the concept and the ideas of it. Okay, so the topic is said, can we use sun on Shabbat? Can we use the sun on Shabbat to do different things like heating water on Shabbat? And the problem is, when I open a tap on Shabbat.
Wendy, it's Halachic here, Wednesday night.
Okay. So I'm muting everyone just so we don't have
Join us. Wednesdays at 7:45.
Okay. Okay. So the question is, when I open the tap of hot water tap on Shabbat, I'm causing cold water to come into this the heating element, and I'm causing it to be cooked on Shabbat. So I'm bringing cold water to a high temperature on Shabbat. So that's a question that Rav Ovadia faced about using the dud shemesh, the solar heating elements on Shabbat. And the same question could apply also for regular heating elements, but there's a bit of a difference between them. So here we have the picture of the solar panel that gets the sun, heats the water inside, and as I said, we won't be facing all of we won't be going through all of this slideshow, just some of it. This is basically how it works. There's a big tank of water. Here it's like maybe the American system. It's inside the house. Usually in Israel, it's above the house. It sits on the house. So we have this water tank that cold water comes into it. There's a pressure of water there. There's a few pipes that connect to the solar panels there that receive the heating from the light, and mainly the light and the heat from the sun. You have black pipes there. It's like the piece of glass that keeps the heat inside, and the water heats, and then it goes back to the this water tank. As you can probably see here in the drawing, or in the whatever it is, in the illustration, usually the higher part, the top part of this water tank will be warmer, and the lower part will be cooler. What's the difference in temperature? I'm not sure, but usually there's a difference in temperature in between them. That's however, water comes into the tank, then comes into the heating element, goes back into the tank, and goes to the tap in the house. So whenever I open the tap, I'm taking out hot water, but with knowing or without knowing it, I'm letting cold water coming in, and then it heats up. So we have a problem of cooking water or boiling water on Shabbat. As you can probably see, I'm not doing it in a straight action, and I'm causing something to happen, and that will bring us to a question: is that called grammar? Okay, is that called grammar? Grammar, we'll get to it soon, but grammar is something in one sentence when I'm not doing it in a straight way. I'm causing it. That might be a thing of grammar. The same question could apply, even if we know it, we don't know it. All of our apartments have an electronic meter that measures how much water we use. Some of them have a special kashrut on them, some of them don't have, some of them have a simple kashrut on them. And the question is, can we use those things on Shabbat? Can I open water in Shabbat? If you want to ask, even a wider thing, whenever I open water in Shabbat, somewhere there's probably an electronic device writing, measuring what's happening here, whether it's in my house, it could be in somewhere around the city, it could be maybe in the factory, somewhere there's electronic things or electric things which are being used. So when I turn on the tap, I'm causing something to happen on Shabbat. Is that a problem or not? Okay, the main topic that Rav Ovadia discusses, but he also discusses other questions, is psik reisha be'isur derabanan. Okay, so psik reisha be'isur derabanan, and that's one of the things we'll get to. So as I said, we aren't going to go through the slideshow. We're going to go just to see just an idea of what we have, and our main topic is basic concepts on Shabbat, and we'll do it through this question of, can I use hot water on Shabbat if the water is heated by the sun? Okay, so that's the question we have. Why is Rav Ovadia talking about water heated by the sun? Okay, so that's why isn't he talking about water heated by a heating element? Okay, so that's could be one, and that question is a very important thing. As we know in Shabbat, we have things which are asur, that are forbidden mideoraita, from the Torah law. We have things that are asur by rabbinical law, midrabanan, and we have things that are permitted. Permitted. When we talk about cooking or boiling water, okay, boiling water comes to the topic of bishul, which is cooking. So I'll use the term cooking, although heating up water probably we won't consider it as cooking. I'll use the term cooking just because of Shabbat. We use the word bishul. Okay, so therefore I use the term cooking. Cooking on something that's the regular way for cooking, like by fire. Okay, fire, perhaps even electric fire, like heating elements, that's forbidden from the Torah. Okay, so when I now cook something on the fire, it's forbidden from the Torah to cook on Shabbat something on the fire. Something which is totally different from the fire. If I heat up something in the sun, okay, that's permitted. Okay, so it's permitted to heat up something in the sun. If something is heated up by the sun, I'm using that to heat up, that's permitted, that's forbidden in rabbinical law, midivei chachamim. Which means if I, let's say, have a black, heavy cast iron frying pan, and I take this heavy cast frying iron pan and put it in the sun for half an hour, I bring it into the house, it's boiling hot. Okay, this frying pan heated up from the sun. I break an egg on that frying pan, so I'm cooking on something which was heated by the sun. I'm not cooking straight in the sun. I'm using something that was heated by the sun, and I'm cooking on that. That's called toldot chama. It's not in the sun itself. It was using something that was heated by the sun, and I'm cooking on that. If you look at it from the perspective of the person who's cooking, there's no big difference if I heat up this pan on the fire and then bring it into the house, or if I heat the pan on the sun in the sun and then I bring it into the house. In both cases, I'm not cooking in direct heat, but that's the way of cooking. So since it's very close to cooking in fire or on fire, our sages said it's also forbidden. Okay, so one can't cook on Shabbat on something that was heated by the sun. Always, as we said in the terms of Chazal, toldot chama. Okay, toldot chama is something that was heated in the sun, and then I am bringing it in. If we look at this dud shemesh, okay, the heating water in the sun, so the water itself doesn't heat in the sun. Okay, it's not as if I have a bowl of water and I take it out, and slowly the sun will heat it up. The sun heats the pipes and perhaps maybe all of the panel, and that panel cooks the water. Okay, so it's not in the sun itself, it's something which is heated in the sun. And as we learned, cooking in something that was heated by the sun, that's forbidden by rabbinical law. Okay, because it's very similar in the way we view it as something that was heated by the fire itself. Okay, so according to Rabbi Ovadia, and that's important, according to Rabbi Ovadia, all of the dud shemesh, all of the question of a dud shemesh is a rabbinical law. Okay, is that there's no problem with deoraita. There's no fire here. It's a problem of something which is a rabbinical law. And as soon as we have here something rabbinical, so that brings it to a different category as we'll see it. So that's one thing, and then we put that in the side. Before we continue, I want to go into, as I said, to a few important concepts of Shabbat. And on Shabbat, we have the term of melechet machshevet asra Torah. Okay? Shabbat, it's not just about the physical work we do, which for sure, the physical work we do on Shabbat does have a lot of importance, but it's also about a mindset of a person. Where does the person view himself, or what does he do? And if a person is doing something unconsciously, without knowing at all what he's doing, so he didn't do any prohibition, at least not from the Torah. Okay, something needs to know what he's doing, to plan what he's doing, to have in purpose to do something which is forbidden, in order for it to be forbidden on Shabbat. So Shabbat is special in the fact that in order for melacha, something forbidden, to be forbidden on Shabbat, a person also needs to have the mind or the intention of creating something and doing something which is forbidden on Shabbat. And we can say we have here a few levels. The most serious level or severe level is if a person says, I am now cooking on Shabbat, and he has in mind, I'm taking a pan and putting the pan on the fire. So he knows he's doing an action of cooking. Okay? So he has something of cooking. Perhaps probably the most lenient or the most easiest example will be a person doesn't know it. All he's doing, he's doing something without even knowing what he's doing. He's playing with his clothes without even sure and cleaning it off without even thinking about it. If you ask him now, what do you just do? He'll say, I don't know. I was just sitting down here. And he doesn't have even in mind to the action he is doing. Okay, so maybe he's cleaning his clothes, washing his clothes, but he's not even sure what he's doing. And it sometimes happens to us. Sometimes we dream, probably many times, and we do things and we aren't even we don't know what we're doing. Just I'm sitting here, I'm doing nothing. So that could be maybe a very easy level of mitasek. I'm just sitting here. I'm not even sure what I'm doing. So we can't say it's forbidden. We can't say, by the way, it's permitted, because to say it's permitted, it means now you can do something. You can do something that is permitted. But the whole idea here of this kind of mitasek, as we call it in the halacha, is a person he doesn't think about what he's doing at all. He doesn't have any conscience about what he's doing. So that we can say is more of the lighter side. Many things we do today in the technology world might have some kind of mitasik, which I'm doing something which without even knowing or having in mind what I'm doing. For example, when I turn the tap on in the house, the meter downstairs is turning around. I don't think about it. I don't know it's turning around. I'm not even sure if I have an analog meter, an electric meter, a laser meter. I know I'm turning on the tap. If you ask me, are we now turning on something downstairs? I have to think about it and say, perhaps, you know what, I am probably moving something there in the meter, but it doesn't sit in our mind. And that's even easier than a shogeg. It's one of the easiest things on Shabbat because a person doesn't have in mind. Some poskim, for example, say that if there are cameras in the street and I'm walking without any intention, without even knowing I'm turning on the cameras, so that's permitted because I'm not turning on I'm just walking in the street. I'm not trying to turn on the camera. My goal is to get from point A to point B. The fact that someone put the cameras or whatever, or lights or whatever, and it causes me to, I don't know anything about it. Okay, so my intention isn't anything to do with that. So really, my mind isn't connected to it at all. I saw a question just this week. One of the companies somewhere in Europe is building those clever sidewalks that you walk on those pavement and your pressure moves things inside and you create electricity and now you're creating power. And I think Rav Rimon, I think it was, he said you're allowed to walk there because you don't have any mind of now doing something. So that's the easiest way, the most lenient place. And here we come to a question where I know what will happen. I know what will happen, but it's not my intention. When I turn on the tap, everyone knows that water comes in because if you close the cold water, so the water won't work. Right? Try once to close the main water. Although you have water in the tank, you need the pressure of the water in order to push water out. And also, you always want new water to come into this heating element, to the water tank in order for it to fill up. So here you know what's happening. You know what, but your main intention is to use hot water. You aren't planning to. Your intention isn't to put cold water inside the water tank. Your intention is to get out hot water. Automatically, you know that cold water will come in. Okay, so that's called a no mitkaven. A no mitkaven is when I'm doing one thing and something else might happen. Okay, something else might happen. That's called a no mitkaven. As you noticed, I emphasize the word might. Okay, so I'm doing something and something else might happen. For example, some of us have in the army, they have it in hotels, they have it, the big ice containers or ice machines, and you take out ice. Sometimes it will cause new ice to be for the machine to start working and create new ice, and sometimes it will not. So that's called a no mitkaven. I'm doing something which is permitted, and I'm not sure if something forbidden might happen. Okay, so no mitkaven, I'm doing a permitted action, and maybe a forbidden action might happen. As I gave an example, there's these ice tanks. Eino mitkaven, everyone agrees, or lahalacha, we agree, it's a machloket in the Gemara or Mishnah, lahalacha, we agree, eino mitkaven is permitted. Okay, so that thing is called eino mitkaven. I'm doing something which is...
Well, why do you say might? Sorry.
What is it?
Why do you say might? It will happen. The cold water will come in.
So we'll get to psikiration, that goes to the cold water. I'm first starting with the might happen, as I gave an example from the ice machine. Because if an ice machine, when I take out ice, depending on the ice machine, the state of the machine, sometimes it will create more ice, sometimes it will not. So in Nomit Kaven, everyone agrees, halacha at least, it is permitted, it's mutar. Here, as you Arnold, as you asked, why do you say might? What happens if I know, if I know that something which is problematic will happen? I turn on the hot water and I know that cold water will come in. and I know that the cold water will be heated by the sun. This is called psik reisha. Psik reisha is for sure 100% you're doing something and something else will happen. That's called psik reisha. And what do we do with psik reisha? Okay, what do we do with psik reisha? Maybe I should have done perhaps a slideshow. So psik reisha, as you can guess, someone once said, if there's the Murphy law, right? If something can get wrong, so it will get wrong, right? It will be wrong. That's more or less the Murphy's law. Someone once said to me in halacha, if there could be a machloket, an argument, there will be a machloket. Okay, so as you can guess, we have an argument about psik reisha. Okay, psik reisha. When I am doing something and I know 100% that it will cause something else to happen, is that forbidden or permitted? So if I know 100% that something forbidden will happen, it's forbidden. Okay, okay, it's forbidden. It's forbidden. I'll give you an example, which I walk and they have an electric door. Okay, and perhaps all of the ideas of technology are problematic because there's many more questions about it. But let's say I have a heating element inside the water. Also, that's a problematic question because of grammar. An example which is brought in the poskim. Okay, an example which is brought in the poskim. I have a big chair, a heavy chair, and I'm pulling it in the field from one place to the other place. The reason I'm pulling it because I want to sit down underneath the tree, and the chair happens to be in the sun, and I need to pull the chair to move it from one place to another place. Because it's such a heavy chair, when I move the chair, so it'll be like plowing the field, and I know it will happen, and also I'm quite happy it will happen because I was just thinking the next day to work in the field, so I'm moving the chair. My intention, what I'm doing is to move the chair from point A to point B. There's another result that it will be plowing the field. That's called psik reisha, and it's helping me with the field. So this is forbidden. Okay, that's forbidden. If I know 100% it will do it, that's forbidden. Okay, so psik reisha as is forbidden. With psik reisha, we have here two more questions, which bring it a bit more complicated. The first question is, what happens if I don't care about it? Okay, I don't care. It happens to be the field of my neighbor. I don't care if he wants to plant their plant, he doesn't want to plant a plant. It's not my field, not my bit. I need to move the chair from one place to another place. What happens to his field I don't care about anything about it. He could want to plant there something the next day. He could leave it like that for another year. I don't care anything about it. That's called psik reisha de lo ichpat li. I don't care about it. It's a subcategory of the lo nichale. It's not really, don't benefit from it. And here we have a machloket. Is it a problem or not a problem? Okay, so psik reisha, if I don't care about it, we have an argument. Another argument we have, and here you have to read to hold tight, is what happens when I have psik reisha? Okay, I'm moving one thing to another thing. But the whole, even if something now will cook, even if it will cook, I'm not doing something which is midoraita. I'm doing something which is rabbinical. Okay, psik reisha beisur derabanan. Okay, so now when I open the tap and sun and water will come in and it will get heated and cooked by the sun, it's not forbidden from the Torah. It's forbidden from rabbinical. And here we have a question. When I'm doing one action, opening the tap, and I know there will be a second action, or a second, not action, probably a second result. There will be a second result, and that's cooking new water. Even if that water now cooks, it's not a forbidden from the Torah. It's for rabbinical. So although it's psik reisha, I know something will happen. Although it's not intended from my action. It happens from it's a rabbinical problem. So psik reisha, beisur derabanan, that already might be easier. Okay, that already might be something that we can be lenient about it. Okay, we can be lenient about it, and that's one of Rav Ovadia's Ravadia's ideas of psik reisha in rabbinical law, that we can be lenient about it. Now, I'll stop here just for a moment because, as I said to you, I warned you, I have a nice guest coming to me to play with us. So perhaps you can see us. Okay. So Amichai, say hello to the nice people here in the shiur. Amichai, say hello to the shiur. Okay, so one reason to be makel, as we said, is psik reisha b'isur d'Rabbanan. Although I'm doing an action, and I know one of the outcomes of it will be something which is forbidden, since that thing is forbidden midrabanan, so perhaps I can be lenient about it. That's one reason to be makel, okay, to be lenient. This is only when I'm cooking something in the sun, not with a heating element, okay, not if when the boiler is turned on. That's only if I'm cooking something in the sun. So Rav Ovadia really relies on that. Another reason to be makel is a very big question of grammar. Okay, and grammar it's very hard to define. How do you define grammar? And okay, what's the definition of grammar? But once I tried to write an article on it, and it's I'm not sure if there's one exact definition of what grammar is. But in one, maybe in sentence, you can define grammar as something which it doesn't happen in a straight way. I'm causing something to happen. Okay, when I open the tap of water, I'm taking out hot water from the dud, okay, from the tank, or from the tap, which takes it from the tank. And then that causes new cold water to come in. And so I'm not doing it with my straight energy or straight. It's called koach sheni. It's something very, very distant, which happens. It could be, most if it takes a second or millisecond, but it's something distant from what I'm doing. So that is grammar. Okay, that's grammar. So as I said again, it's hard to define exact grammar. If you ask Somet, if you ask Mishimot Shabbat, they'll have different definitions of grammar, and you can maybe see different opinions in the Rishonim. But as a title, grammar is something which I'm doing not in a straight way. Okay? It's something which is from the side. I'm taking out hot water and I'm giving the option for cold water to come in. Grammar, many people, many poskim, not everyone is lenient by grammar, especially if the whole problem is something which is rabbinical. So that if taking out hot water and then letting cold water in, we can view it as grammar. So maybe it's an option to use hot water on Shabbat. So we discussed here in the terms, we discussed the idea of psik reisha, something which I know will happen, and we also mentioned this concept of grammar. And grammar on Shabbat, we can certainly be lenient on it. Sometimes we are machmir, we are more stringent in grammar, but on Shabbat, we certainly have a reason to be a bit more lenient in grammar on Shabbat, because as we mentioned, in Shabbat, it's not just action being done, it's something which I am doing, I'm part of it, I'm thinking about it, so we have more of a reason to be lenient in grammar on Shabbat. In general, Sfaradim are a bit more lenient in grammar compared to Ashkenazim, but even Ashkenazim sometimes can be lenient on grammar on Shabbat. So from these reasons and other reasons, Rav Ovadia says like that. If it's the summer in Ma'ale Edomim, and you want to use hot water, you can open the tap of hot water to wash your hands or wash your face or whatever, although you know cold water will be coming into the tank on Shabbat. Because even if it comes in and it will be cooked, it will be only a rabbinical decree. And then psik reisha, we said something which I know will happen, but I'm not doing it. It's a secondary result of my action. So that's some poskim hold it's permitted. And even if it's forbidden, so it's even a grammar. Grammar is even easier. Okay, grammar, it's not a straight result. It's a distant result. I'm just causing something. I'm not doing it in a straight way. So many poskim are lenient also about that. Therefore, says Rav Ovadia and many other poskim, not just Rav Ovadia, one can use on Shabbat hot water that is heated by the sun, even if he knows that now new water will be coming in. Okay, but if it's heated by a heating element, so everything here is midoraita already, and since it's midoraita, so we can't use all of those reasons to be lenient. For example, the winter, it's cold outside, so many of us have a heating element on before Shabbat, after Shabbat, during Shabbat, so that you can't. Oh, in the States, some places in the States, the heating element is on all year round, 24/7, and then you can't use the hot water on Shabbat. Okay, so we discussed here many the topics, the concepts, psik reisha, melechet machshevet, something that planning, grammar, and we came with maybe should have been a class for the summer. On the winter, when the heating element is on, you cannot use the hot water on Shabbat. And on the summer, so certainly there are many who will be able to use it on Shabbat.